battle line seems to be drawn between the legislators on one side and the executive and the judiciary on the other. The three arms of government are against each other over the 20 million shillings MPs allow themselves as facilitation for the role in the fight against COVID-19. Despite the High Court directive for MPs to refund this money, Speaker Rebecca Kadaga has now directed the legislators to disregard both the president and the court on this money. So where does this bickering between the three arms of government leave their outright mandate of delivering services to Ugandans? Welcome to the show. My guests this evening are the Honorable Gerard Karuhanga. Thank you very much for responding to our invitation. The Honorable Dr. Miriam Atembe, thank you very much. And Honorable Selwanyi, thank you for giving us your time. Well, you are all of you on the spotlight, and I can say the spotlight of Uganda is on you, and people are keenly waiting to hear what you're going to say. Let me begin with my neighbor who is very next here. When a majority of your colleagues decided to float with the current, you decided to swim against the current. You and Jonathan Oduru. And that was going against almost 500 legislators. Why did you take that position?
Firstly, let's appreciate the fact that it's not just the two of us. We are more than two. Because to start with, I'm a member of the budget committee. And 5 of us had a minority report. In fact, this is where this emanated from. I had a minority report present, and the chairman, according to our procedure, is supposed to present a main report, the chairman of the budget committee, and then he invites the member who has a minority report to present it. Mm-hmm. Now, before he started presenting the majority report, he started by amending the very report that was signed by the majority members. He said, I have new information, and therefore I would like to move to amend the report of the committee. And actually at that point, it's when Honorable Dur raises a serious point that this could be challenged in court, that it appears this 10 billion that has become an issue, that the chairman was just trying to amend on the floor of Parliament, because he was reducing the Ministry of Health budget from 104 billion to 94 billion and taking the 10 billion to the Parliamentary Commission. It was clear that it had not been subjected to the scrutiny of the budget committee. And that's the issue that was downplayed and was never addressed. Debate was never allowed. I attempted to present a minority report. I was literally not allowed. Chaos ensued, and the report was passed. 932 billion in total was passed almost when the entire House was standing up and in total chaos, without debate. So that's where we begin from, and we are concerned and say, well, wait a minute. For how long are we going to fail to respect the very rules that we put in place as legislators? And so we realized that the only room we had remained with was to proceed to the judiciary and seek another opinion that probably would be respected.
Honorable Selwanyi, when your colleague Gerard Karuhanga, with whom you serve in Parliament, says you have passed a supplementary budget of 900 billion, almost a trillion shillings, with no debate, was the 10 billion part of the part on the back so that you can pass the budget with no debate?
First of all, I want to thank all Ugandans who are viewing us now, and good evening to everyone. It is, I think by luck or a coincidence, that today I'm here with Gerard. I happen to be a member of the budget committee, where we sat with Gerard. The Minister of Health requested for 62 billion, not what we gave them. We said no, 62 billion is little. We kept on adding them, removing money for billboards from ICT. We moved on together until at a point when Gerard, I don't know where they picked it, went and came up with a minority report. When they presented the minority report on the floor, it was defeated. When you're defeated, there are procedures in the parliament. We have rules of procedure. For example, you stand up and you show your disagreement, and the speaker will not move ahead. They have to listen to you. If you stand up and you raise quorum more than 40 members, Karuhanga was literally defeated on the minority report. This means we are creating another precedence in the parliament where when you go to a committee, you bring a report, you are defeated, because this is majority. We vote on these issues. It means if you're defeated, you run to court. I think this was in bad faith. It was done in very bad faith to bring disrepute maybe to the parliamentary commission, to try to show that what we are doing was not right, but what we are doing in the parliament is right, because the role of parliament is appropriation, and we actually appropriated. And Ugandans now have been diverted. They are looking at 10 billion. So the question is, Honorable Sirwanyi, why do you have to appropriate money to yourselves? You know, helping the vulnerable is not your area of competence. It's not your mandate. There are systems of government that are supposed to be doing that. For you to give yourselves 10 billion shillings, which has also been questioned by their own chairman of the party, which is also new because normally he doesn't. He gives you the money. Why would you go into that? Yet you know there are systems and departments of government, MDAs, that are supposed to be doing exactly that. They have the competence and they have the mandate. One, members of parliament are leaders in this country. That's not in doubt, sir. Yes, we are leaders in this country. There is no way you can tell a member of parliament, a leader, that you sit in Kampala, don't go to do the role of oversight, don't go to see how food is being distributed, don't go to your constituency, keep quiet, stay in Kampala. Then tomorrow, how will you go back to the population and tell them that I was away? Wait, Kamala, I was away. No, I'm coming. Just listen to what I'm going to say. That is why, as Parliamentary Commission, we decided that we give members of parliament 20 million to go and participate in COVID activities. And this 20 million was not the money that was the only money that members of parliament are supposed to use, because members of parliament were already using their personal monies from their salaries, from different sources, to put in their constituencies, supporting people with food, because this is not our role, but we are in an emergency situation. We are in a situation that is abnormal. Let me bring in Dr. Matembe. The lockdown has never existed. Let me bring in Dr. Matembe here, because she served as a minister. She has been in that parliament. She's a lawyer and an activist. Dr. Matembe, what do you make of this ping pong? You see, we have seen the judiciary now and the executive against parliament. They have appropriated 10 billion to themselves, and it's causing quite a stir in the country. What do you make of that?
First of all, I want to thank you and thank NTV for inviting me, because for sure the biggest asset I have in my life is my mouth, and when you give me an opportunity to use it, then I must say I'm very grateful. And I'm happy to appear here with this, he calls me Mama, but I wish I could train him how Matembe is children, the integrity they carry along, but he's an adopted child. The womb can produce can surprise you sometimes. With adopted ones, you may not know, and I'm glad to appear with the Honorable Karuhanga, who usually happens to have views like mine. I'm glad that I came here after listening to Honorable Kadaga, the Speaker of Parliament, who today appeared to me as if she's having a state of her own, a nation of her own, which she's leading. I wondered, I said, has my sister gone somehow in the head? What? I don't know what has happened. Because he was saying that he's being attacked, the House is attacked by judiciary, attacked by the executive, and forgetting that actually the first attacker was the public. Even long before Honorable Karuhanga went to court, we had already, we as the public, outcried so loudly. I have my colleague, former Minister of State, Honorable Sarah Chama. In the morning, even me before I knew, she rang me. I know Sarah to be such a quiet, cool opposite of myself. She rang me, she was high up, I said, Miria, this cannot be, this cannot happen. Then 10 minutes, I said, which for what? He said, for parliamentarians have voted for themselves 10 billion, they are going to get 20 million each. And I said, 20 million times all those members of parliament. She said, Miria, we must do something. She had already done something. She had initiated an online petition against parliament getting them that money. And quickly the petition, I don't know whether some of them signed, because online, Ugandans outside, everywhere, we got 20. I don't know whether they have gone beyond 20 now, 20,000. And 20,000 are more than the current members of parliament. That was the public. You know, public out there doesn't come to speak loud like Kadaga has a forum where she speaks. But the parliament out there, I mean the public, almost everybody, whenever they meet me on the street, Honorable Mama, you must stop that money. So she is not only under attack by these other institutions came in later, the judiciary and the executive, but the attack, the original attack question is from the very public whom they think they are getting this money to serve. So I want to tell my sister, Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, who is a lawyer, who knows these things. Actually, for me, the first time she shocked me is when she went to chair the house and told them that, you know, on these matters, let us invite the Attorney General to come here and guide us. First of all, I knew Honorable Kadaga, being a lawyer herself, she knew what the judgment meant. She knew what it meant. But because she sort of wanted to wash her hands off it, like Pilate, you know, Perato in the Bible, she saw that somebody was innocent but wanted to wash off the hands. So she wanted to wash off the hands, maybe thinking that the Attorney General will come in and be on her side, and then they will say, you see, I'm following the advice of the Attorney General. But as soon as the Attorney General departed from what she expected, very disrespectfully and very angrily, shut him down. Not only did she shut him down, she called the colleagues, the Karanga, stupid. She defied the court and said the court has no powers over them. And this is a lawyer who knows actually the relationship between the three organs of the state. She knows their role as parliamentarians, and knows that when they make law, when they make the budget, when they make all these things, the implementer is the executive. And during that implementation or the making of that law, if there is a wrong, the judge, if I can call it that, the mediator, whatever, is the judiciary. And that's why judiciary is the last resort. When these two organs, each of them may be messes or causes a problem for us, we public, to suffer, then that's why judiciary is there. Because it sits and now decides. And that is why judiciary is on different levels. Right from grade 1, High Court, Chief Magistrate, High Court, Court of Appeal, Supreme Court, so that by the time you have really exhausted these channels, you'll go home feeling good that, well, I think justice has been done. So I want to tell Honorable Kadaga that instead of getting angry and defying everybody, she is not the owner of Uganda, nor is she owning the state or the parliament. We are the public who elect them to parliament. She's holding that position on behalf of the public, and therefore she should reconsider and know that she is under judgment by the public, by the executive, by the judiciary. And if I were her, you can't be hated by everybody. If all of the people are against you, then you better look twice.
Well, but not the members of parliament,
look
at least.
Twice.
But let me
that is one institution. That is one institution. But these other institutions together with public, and mainly the public, it is the public which has put all these institutions in place. Because although judges are appointed by the president and approved by the parliament, it is the public which elects the president and elects the judge. The public is the authority, and the constitution says all authority in Uganda belongs to the people.
Okay, we have been talking in reference to what the Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, the Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga said. Let me ask my producer to play what exactly she stated this afternoon or this evening.
How would the judge receive our accountability? How do we go to the registrar in the High Court to account there? No, they should follow the guidelines of the Parliament, because the channels of communication and accountability are here. The appropriation is our business. You know, this is now a judge appropriating money from the court. Appropriation is for Parliament. That's what the Constitution says. But a judge is sitting in the court saying now he's appropriating. So this is an attack on Parliament by the executive and the judiciary. Also, the Prime Minister, support vulnerable persons, 59 billion. That's the one which is buying the expired milk. You're aware that milk is expired, we're just having Ugandans. And the beans, the rotten beans. 59 billion. You should take an interest in that. It is clear that we are under attack from the executive and also from the judiciary.
Okay, the Right Honourable Speaker, Rebecca Kadaga there, and making her statement that the Parliament is under attack from the judiciary and the executive. But really, I know the President has also come to speak against the 10 billion, but I find it a bit disingenuous because this has been his method of work. For quite some time, every time he wanted something passed, he always gave some money, including consultation, all that. Is he being genuine? I find an element of him being disingenuous because this is his standard operation procedure.
I certainly believe the President is not genuine at all. It's not long ago, and it's again this Parliament. If you recall, we had the 29 million, which was given to the members. And this was again very unfortunate money. And quite a number of us returned the money. Again, it was for the benefit of the regime. So this time, and we know the espionage in this country, especially at Parliament, that you can pass 10 billion and the chief executive of the country, with all his informers and his spy network, that he didn't know about the 10 billion that was passed in Parliament. I found it sad. It's okay that he also probably saw the wrong in it, but for him to say that he had not seen this and somehow that one, I think we need to be honest. This is fundamentally wrong. And let's not run away try to say anybody's attacked or what. Wait, who initiated the 10 billion in Parliament? Was it somebody from the public? Was it somebody from the executive? Was it from the judiciary? It was us in Parliament. Where was this money reduced from? And let's tell the truth, Honorable Siroin. Yes, it's true, initially, Minister of Health had asked for 62 billion. But it's also true that the Minister of Finance and the Permanent Secretary was very clear that the Minister of Finance had directed them ask for little money for immediate intervention. But they had wanted much more money than that. And that's what informed the committee to increase their budget from 62 billion to 104. But it's also true that Parliament, whereas it passed 932 billion that day, it did not go for the other 800. And unfortunately, the 490 billion was under classified expenditure, which has also become another problem for this country. Because as we speak, we have 3.5 trillion supplementary expenditure for classified this financial year alone. And
that's the money that's going to be spent between April and July?
Yes. This is the 490 billion, yes. But the 3.5 trillion has been over a year. Supplementary budget, just classified alone. Now, one of the things that really put me at great pain was that in these COVID times, I couldn't imagine that the parliamentarians would go for the 104. So this was actually really to make it worse. It was already very, very bad. But then, that even when it was that bad, Parliament chose to leave the other 800 and go for the 104 for Minister of Health in these COVID times. That was really really sacrilegious.
I know, Honorable Sirwan, you are saying the budget was actually increased, the cutters to the Committee of Parliament from 60 billion to 104. But again, you went for that 104 to deduct 10 billion. And for many people, that was quite...
Yeah, well, you know, when we were increasing the money, Gerard was in the committee. He was there. When we were increasing the money, we were tasking Diana, the PS of Minister of Health, go and find where to put this money. She had to go and think. She didn't know even where she was going to put the money. That is why we came up with the issue of 10 billion to support parliamentary commission, that members of parliament can also go and join.
Increasing money without the budget lines, and
yes, we were just giving them money to go and think, because they came with a budget of 62 billion. But we told them you need more. So they kept on scratching. We sent them away to go and
But if you're saying they needed more, then you should be knowing where that money should be going.
Listen, we added them money and told them to go and find the critical areas where they can put this money. They came up with the critical areas. Then we, as the committee, said that now even the leaders of parliament, for example, me, a member of parliament, Honorable Karuhanga, needs to go and get involved, be a member of the task force, either at national or local. For example, members of parliament who are at regional level, like workers, those ones can be at national. Then for us, we can be at districts, because this is a challenge for all of us. But we lost it when Ugandans lost track on the supplementary of 800 billion and started talking about 10 billion. We gave each RDC of every district 55 million.
But before you talk about Ugandans, Honorable Sirwanyi, you as Parliament should have debated that, should have tried to look into that supplementary budget of almost $1 trillion.
But we discussed it in the committee, and it was signed by there is a number that is allowed for a report to pass. You don't bring the report on the floor of Parliament when there is no signing. The signing was above the minimum number that was required. And that is why Gerard gave chairman notice that I'm coming up with a minority report. And the minority report was attached on the main report. That's the procedure. And that procedure is very clear.
Honorable Dr. Matembe, this looks like an illegitimate appropriation. And now the chairman of the party is saying, now, you don't do this. But when you look back into the history of our parliament, you find there are many examples where money has been given in that order. And they seem to have kept quiet.
I first of all, the other question of the president. For me, anyway, for me, it's so sad what is going on in this country, and it started long ago. As far as we Ugandans, I think we Ugandans who reason, who understand, we know what we consider our parliament to be. And it's not parliamentary. It is a parliament, a transactional parliament. A transactional parliament which negotiates with the president. Scratch my back, I scratch yours. That's what that parliament does, and it has done it so many times. And as for the president, Vambi, as I have already said it, this is not the president that I saw right from the time the NRM came to power. By the time I parted company with him, of course, he had started going on that wrong journey. Because of his too much love for power, staying in power, he has lost it. He lost the vision for this country. He lost what he had thought for this country. And he's so swallowed up, he messed up with staying in power forever. So that's why he's blackmailed, so when he said that, hey, this money, he purports to deny that he didn't know that these people are getting the money. I want to believe that he must have known. I'm sorry if I'm believing wrongly, but because if this has been his practice, his way of doing things, what else can I believe? What I know is that President Museveni, as soon as he sees that something is about to disturb his stay in power, and it can cause the questioning of to dent him before the public, immediately he will denounce you.
Throw you under the bus.
He will wash his hands off you when he knows that actually you are right, but he will denounce you. Now, having said that, me, I was so... I thought Ugandans, I thought this COVID was going to make people run to God. And in fact, some of us, we have used this opportunity to really seek God, because we thought this is something where God is showing his power, that it is not by might or by power, but by his spirit, because he has really showed his power over the big, the great, the whatever. And I thought people would be running to him and even denouncing all the sins that we've been doing, so that at least God can forgive us. But you listen to what Honorable Kadaga is saying, coming with this list reading for us. The Prime Minister got this, City Council got this. Yeah, why don't you question that? In other words, he's saying, but we are not the only robbers. They are, all these others are robbers. They have robbed you of 8 whatever billion. Why are you focusing on a salon? That is exactly what he's saying. And it is so painful for us, because now they are owning up. Yes, we are getting this, but why don't you question also? We gave the Prime Minister, we gave the whatever. So he's telling us, you people, you better open up your eyes wider. All of us have robbed you. And by the way, we are not even using the money for what it is needed for. Look what the Prime Minister, they have brought bad beans. Look what we are also using it in our own way. So in fact, he's telling us, please rise up and overthrow us. For me, that is the understanding, the interpretation.
Okay, just hold on
I
to your
get
point
out
there.
of what he's
just
saying.
Hold on to your point there, because now I just want to bring in the spokesperson of the NRM caucus. I think you depute the Honorable Margaret Muhanga. And this is what he says. And I think maybe the members of parliament think they have leverage over the executive, if this is what I was reading from her presentation. If somebody could just play for me, Honorable Margaret Muhanga's take.
Every arcade that is coming up in town is for an MP. Every skyscraper in town is now by an MP. How much can 20 million do, really? You are not looking at people who took 80 billion, 70 billion classified expenditure. You are only looking at 10 billion. Given to MPs whose responsibility is immense. We are quite a big force. And he relies on us, the NRM MPs, in that house. So he wouldn't go and speak like that. Somebody ill-advised him because he over-demonized us. I didn't even believe it. I even thought I was in a dream. But I woke up and said, am I not really listening to this guy? He really said these things and I'm not happy.
The Honorable Margaret Muhanga there, I think, shocked that the president demonized his own party, that he could not even believe that those were words are coming from the chief.
Has she just woken up? Has she just woken up to know President Museveni? We are around the corner for elections. Does he ever want... He always wants the turnover to be so little when it comes to members of parliament coming back. He wants the new ones, these ones who they must go and get the new ones and move
Expendable,
on. Now she has just woken up. She has just woken up to know that.
That you've just said. She has even said it, that for him is more comfortable with the new members.
Oh, yeah.
So when I see members really playing and towing his line, and just
and she has admitted that he's always using us, and now you see, hey.
Honorable Selwani, you've been thrown under the bus, haven't you?
No. I'll not say that. Today, I'm basically here as a parliamentary commissioner. And I want to be on that as a parliamentary commissioner, talking on behalf of Parliament and on behalf of the commissioner and myself. I don't want to go into the party things. So all the comments I'm giving are in that aspect. First of all, what the president said was unfortunate, because I think there are people who are advising him that this money MPs are taking, because when he was saying it, he even demonstrated that they are taking money to eat. And this is someone who went and told the president that MPs are taking money to eat.
But
who can take money to eat? Really, which member of parliament can take, with what is happening in this country, with the pressure, how people are dying, which member of parliament can take money to eat? I saw my party chairman even demonstrating like this.
He has always
people are dying. People are dying. People are dying. People are dying in the village of hunger. people basically don't have what to eat. Every day I have to send mobile money, boda groups, you have to send it. I saw Gerard giving out 50 million. So, Posho, 50 million. Posho. And you say that 20 million, now what would 20 million do? And you say that 20 million is anything. I have given out Posho, I've given out this. We are doing what is not even in our role. Our role is legislation.
What you are doing may be desirable, but is it the right way?
But we are in an
is it the right
emergency
way
situation.
of handling government issues?
We are stuck.
Dr. Matembe.
Sir, if I tell you how much I have been giving, let me tell you, when it comes to this COVID, people have been giving. Some of those have taken to Prime Minister and everywhere. But some of us are giving it to our neighbors, to everybody who comes along to our house. We are giving. So should we all of us go now
I'm told the president
to the budget?
I'm told the president has also given 1.4.
That was a mockery. That was a mockery. We shall talk about it. But what I'm saying, should we all now go to Parliament to get appropriation to be able to assist people? Because the church is giving, the leader, we are giving through our church, through our homes, we are giving. So should we all now go and get appropriation from Parliament because we are all helping our people? Okay. And especially when in fact parliamentarians, apart from parastatals and so on, parliamentarians are the most well-paid people. Secondly, they are the people whose salary is not going to fail. Because right now in this closed down, all those people have been working in hotels, in other companies, everywhere which are closed down. They don't expect even salary next month or when. But the parliamentarians' money is there. It is guaranteed.
Has it increased now?
Yeah, it is guaranteed. The usual money, the mileage, the whatever is guaranteed. These are people who are given lunch at Parliament. You people, I went to Parliament. I used to pay for my own money. I bought my own vehicle. I put in my own fuel. I ate my own lunch. I paid all these. But parliamentarians of Uganda now, everything is paid for them. And on top of that, they get more money. And for us who pay the tax, by the way, do they pay tax? One time they were struggling to waive their tax off themselves. Yes, so they paid it eventually, where I can't remember. But this is our tax money, which they are appropriating to themselves. When for us, we are helping Ugandans, who is appropriating to us.
Okay, before we take a break, Honorable Gerald Karuhanga, I remember, I think the House was suggesting that you should appear before a disciplinary committee, including the Honorable Robert Chagulanyi, because of the stand that you took. I wonder whether that's still, whether the summons are still there.
You know, it is true that the National Theatre is very close to Parliament, but there is also a road in between. So the two institutions have no relationship as far as delivering their professional or their national duty as maybe assigned to either. So I was very disappointed and quite surprised that the institution that makes laws, and one of the great laws that Parliament has made, is the right, recognizing the right that is strongly and deeply entrenched in the Constitution, that when an individual is aggrieved with another individual or an institution, you proceed to courts of law, seek court intervention, and so both of you. So I looked, I said, did I not get these rules well? That you mean within our rules there is an offense that if any of us is aggrieved with Parliament or even another individual in Parliament, that becomes an issue, a disciplinary issue if you go to court. So I think that's sad, but on the other hand, I thought it was very destructive. I think it was to take the attention away from the fundamental error, the great error that was made. If Parliament meant serious business, where we are now, Honorable Serwan, you were a commissioner, would be to accept that this was wrong, that we made a mistake, that Ugandans expect us right now to also sacrifice and pick from our pockets and make our contributions like we've done anyway before, and say, we are sorry, your 20 million is here. In any case, if we are saying we want to give it to them, and Ugandans are comfortable, their money being spent through districts and not through our pockets, for heaven's sake, there are some of us who are not even running again. There are some of us who are running and literally have realized that the next elections are probably not likely to go in their favor. You think all those will spend this money? They won't. So let's be fair to Ugandans. They entrusted us with the mandate to represent them. It's not a simple task for anyone to say you are 5, 10 people running. Some of us had really rough elections. I remember I was under house arrest the day before the election. We had military choppers, we had mambas. It was a very rough election. My family was beaten. I brought people here in Mragu whose legs were broken. So we go through such a process, and then we get to Parliament. Everyone expects us to be serious, to take care of the national interests, the people's interests, not our own interests. And that's why I have a very fundamental problem with this money. Because, look, if we were able to cut out 55 million for RDCs, what was difficult to raise money for the constituencies and pass it on to the districts? And members could engage with the district sub-county chairpersons and agree on how this money should be spent depending on the different challenges in the different districts or constituencies. That debate was never allowed. And that's what prompted me to go to court.
Honorable Serwani, I want to come with a direct question. Did the money hit your account?
First of all,
where have you put it?
First of all, what Gerard is talking, to borrow some words from somewhere, there are a lot of moral issues. Because if you say, you wake up in the morning, you squat in Parliament, then you run, take Parliament to court, come back tomorrow and squat in the same Parliament. Yet there are systems, there are procedures. Yes.
What's squatting?
Which one? I mean, I'm borrowing a word. You come to work at Parliament as a member of Parliament. You have rules of procedure. That if I'm defeated on this, I'm supposed to do 1, 2, 3. So if somebody raises and says you should go to the Committee of Rules and Procedures, I mean, that person is right. I mean, you have jumped from A to Z. Why don't you exploit B? Why don't you exploit C? If you're defeated in that, then it is okay. You can go to court because this is a right of every Ugandan. But before you even do that, the next morning you have run to court. Should every member whose debate, whose suggestion, whose opinion has been defeated, run to court? Is that how we are going to run?
But if you think what you did was right, they shouldn't be.
No, we don't have. Yes. No, I mean we don't. I mean we don't have a problem.
Yeah.
But morally, you are a part of the institution that has rules of procedure.
So you lecture.
I mean, why don't you exploit all these areas?
Which exploitation?
Then you go to court.
Kamala, let's get this.
Because of time, this is what I'm going to do.
Yes.
I'm going to take a break so that as we take a break, then Honorable Serwani can be teaching you about morals. But we'll be right back.
I wish you could.
Welcome back. You're watching On the Spot. My name is Patrick Amara. My guest tonight are Honorable Solomon Silwanyi, who is the Commissioner of Parliament, Dr. Miriam Matembe, a human rights defender, and Honorable Gerard Karuhanga, Member of Parliament representing Ntungamo Municipality. And we're looking into the 10 billion shilling that Parliament appropriated itself, and now court has decided otherwise. But before we go deep into the discussion, I want to bring in also the views of a member of the opposition in Parliament, and the Honorable Ibrahim Semujunganda. This is what he says about the 10 billion.
If there is anybody here, he may not face the law on earth, but someone who will face God and will be punished for misusing public resources, it is Museveni. The first time we passed a supplementary this financial year, it was 50 billion shilling for Museveni to go and do a tour around the country. 50 billion. He has a budget of 280 billion shilling for donation. Look at the budget of State House. It is now 600 billion shilling. Museveni, through his government, has distributed seedlings, tons and tons for MPs to go and distribute. He has distributed the coffee seedlings. Did the MPs become members of NADS? Has Museveni in the past brought NADS money for MPs to go and consult on marriage and divorce bill? Were they purchasing officers? Didn't he give MPs money 29 to go and consult on the age limit? Had he become a purchasing agent?
The Honorable Ibrahim Semujunganda there. But I find that argument again a bit disturbing. It looks like the Honorable Ibrahim Unganda and Honorable Margaret Muhanga seem to suggest that, well, there has been a problem somewhere, as if you accept that there's a mistake has been committed by someone, and so even if I do the same after all, two mistakes don't make it right. And that seems to be the argument that both of them are making. In fact, the three of them are making.
But this one, this one is agreeing with us when we said that that is President Museveni's way of doing things. He uses the parliament when it is for his benefit, and Mwanga said he comes and uses us. Now, when he sees that thing might dent his popularity and affect his coming elections, then he washes his hands off you. So for us, we are not saying that Museveni, by denouncing the members of parliament's action, that he's clean. He's not clean. He's not clean. All of them are not clean. But they have no right to come and say, by the way. Now, they are owning up. Now, I'm so glad about this COVID. You know, this COVID is busy killing people and all that kind of thing. And for me, I've been praying to God that may this COVID be a turning point in Ugandans and in Africans, so that they may look around and look inside themselves and see how they can liberate themselves. Now, these people, the way they are talking, they are all owning up. Because, for instance, the Speaker Kadaga telling us, look what the beans the Prime Minister's office is buying. Now, if we had not questioned this, would he be telling us what the money is doing? Because they sat there, they appropriated the money, they gave to themselves so that they may be keeping quiet, so that things lie under the table, we people suffer. But now, because for them they were our representative, when again they gave themselves money, we raised this issue. Now that the issue has raised up, it's like you go to court and say, yes, I robbed this money, but this one also bringing the case also robbed. I mean, a wrong cannot correct a wrong. So now they are admitting to us that they've done a wrong. But so while I'm still on this matter, let me finish it up. Actually, the Bible, in the Bible there it says, be slow to speak, be quick to listen, and be slow to be angry. You know, Honorable Kadaga, I don't know what this 10 billion meant for her. Maybe for her she's getting more than 20 million, I don't know. But she has become so incensed that she has even gone beyond, because I heard her talking, moreover, alleging some kind of corruption on the part of the judge. Because as I listened to her this evening, he said that Honorable Karhanga connived with the judge to get out that judgment. And to me, that is corruption. How can she make such a statement? The anger has, you know, the anger can eat your brains, and you end up saying things you wouldn't have said. Because, for instance, now, if the judge comes this day, it is everybody heard about it. If the judge says, okay, prove that I connived with Karhanga, a judge is supposed to be independent and give his own judgment. Now, for the speaker to accuse the judge that he connived with Karhanga to bring that judgment is again another terrible thing.
I can imagine the 10 billion has really caused quite a stir in the country, but yet you passed a budget supplementary of 932 billion without debate. And I think that's a bigger concern, because it looks like colossal sums of money could actually go to the drain, and we are all of us looking at it, and which is another smaller problem. There's could be a bigger one.
You see what
without debate, yeah.
I think the reason for lack of that debate is that 10 billion.
What you must stop, Kamara, is the culture that is beginning to build, probably not even just in Parliament, but across the country, that we all look out for ourselves. We are beginning to turn Parliament into a business arena, whereby if there is if there is a budget that is meant to be passed, especially if it's colossal sums of money, then somehow the questions begin. What is in for us in this matter? Yeah, and that's why, though, if you remember the constitutional amendment, money became, it was more or less actually, the money issues became much more important than the very constitutional amendment that we're making. And so it becomes transactional.
Yeah.
You give me, I give you. You give me, I give you. And I keep wondering, we come from across the country. We know the plight of our people. I keep thinking, when we are going back to ask them to give us further mandate, what runs in our minds when we are making these decisions? That these fellows, by these decisions we make their lives better? That we come out and say, by us getting more money, these fellows, they have better hospitals, they have now better schools, they have better services. So we have got to question this because it was becoming a culture. And not just in Parliament, it was becoming a culture in the executive, in the largely a culture in Uganda, that everyone, whatever is going to be done by any public official, they must first look out for their own cut. What is in for me? And some of these things are very complex to people. I can tell you for a fact that there are several members of Parliament who are agreeing with what we are doing. But because, sometimes you're thinking, but these are colleagues. These are the friends we've been working with. How would they look at it? But somehow, some way, one must make a position and say, look, this culture must be checked. This culture must be exposed. And therefore, now you are seeing the debate is even widening. We are even exposing more rot in government. What does this mean? That eventually this can translate some pressure on government to deliver more. So use more money, more effectively.
Honorable Solomon Selwanyi, Commissioner Solomon Selwanyi, what have you done with your money? The 20 million.
The 20 million that we received, like mine, the bank, when they came up with the order, the bank blocked, Orient Bank, blocked most of the what? Mpanga, the lawyer of Karanga, went threatening. Banks block this money. I'm presuming, because why would a bank that is not even party the case block? So they went.
There's a principle called constructive trust.
So they went and they blocked that money. So I think it is going to be unblocked. Then we shall use that money as per the guidelines that we have to benefit the public in my district. But I've been doing personal things using my savings. Karuhanga took things of 50 million. I also took a lot of things, food. What? By taking that, Gerard would have done only his role of legislation. Why would an MP be involved in carrying bulk?
But you as members of
why we are doing that? Why
you,
Gerard, myself, are taking food to the communities? Because we have accepted and considered that we are in an emergency.
So, Honorable
and
Gerard,
we have no option. We have no option but to supply porridge.
Shouldn't you be putting up some kind of laws so that you put systems, help the executive put systems that are going to deliver, not an individual, Selwanyi and Karanga.
Yes, but this cannot succeed in one day. You cannot establish this.
No,
we are working towards that, and we are doing it, all of us.
There's a Ministry for Disaster Preparedness and all this kind of
yes,
stuff. There's a system that you should be able to build.
What is happening, Kamara, what is happening in Uganda now has never happened since I was born.
Can I?
Maybe because when Matembe was
what is happening in the world has not happened in 100 years.
Yes.
We know that.
But I'm asking, this is a unique situation. That's why you see all members of parliament carrying porridge. People are trying to carry this one because that's not our role. But you have to do it.
Yeah, but
it is an emergency.
Let's distinguish between
it is an emergency.
No, we're not saying you should not help.
Yeah,
like we're saying, can't you use
we are all donating.
On the issue, can I come on the issue of the system? Of course, we have always said that the systems and the institutions have broken down. In fact, many of the institutions are undermined. That's why, for instance, you are seeing this, who is this, like I was saying, when you see this in Nakarima, the anti-corruption unit taking over the role of a prime minister's office, and being the one to get out the officers of the prime minister and sending them to jail, then that's when you know what systems are working now. Because these systems and the institutions, irrespective of COVID, this young man, my son, has been telling me, what about the ambulances? Members of parliament bought ambulances. They have got to put fuel in the ambulances. I asked, since when was the role of a member of parliament to be the one to supply facilities for health? Since when? Because you are supposed to make sure there is a budget, and this budget you appropriate it and you put there what should be done, and even if it is minimal or what, but you appropriate this money and it goes buys ambulance, it puts all these health institutions in place, and for you come in and check, were these things done? Did we do this and this? You are checking who? Oversight role on executive. Now, Kamara, I want to ask you, now that these people have been partakers of the COVID money, haven't they lost the moral and legal right actually to question the misuse of this COVID money? When it is found that it has been misused, like the bad beans have been bought or whatever, do they still have that?
But Honorable Silwani is questioning the moral integrity.
I'm raising that. Do they have that moral right to question as to how RDC used his, or Prime Minister used his, or what? They don't have that right. Secondly, they have lost it. The institutional right is now lost, and so they cannot question. Their mouth is closed up. Now, secondly, I had Kadaga listing. Prime Minister's got this, RDC got this, but where was that money going into Rugunda's pocket? Because we want to know. Theirs is going, was supposed to go in Kadaga's pocket, go in Serwanya's pocket, but was that money allocated to RDC's office, allocated to Ministry of Health, or allocated to Prime Minister's office, to City Council? Was that money supposed to be in the pocket of the town clerk? I don't know whether she's called town clerk. Was it supposed to be in the pocket of the minister? Was the money supposed to be in the pocket of Mero Kurutu and other ministers in Prime Minister's office? Or it was a money for Prime Minister's office to do the work within the Prime Minister's office in relation to COVID? Theirs is going to their own personal account. Money, government money which goes to own personal account. That is corruption.
But now, when you say that the money should be taken to the district task force, or maybe the Auditor General, no, the Attorney General should find out how it was used.
How sure are we even going to know?
Is that applicable? Is that possible? that the Auditor General, the Attorney General should see how Honorable Selwani
By the way,
money.
as an example,
Yeah, you know,
as an example, excuse me, as an example, I saw this Deputy Minister of State for Health who bought motorcycles and was displaying them. And these people think we are fools. We are looking at 2021. Those are motorcycles for agents. Come 2021, she has already prepared her team to campaign for 2021. I'm telling you. And then somebody, they say they bought a boat. Now you say, you see, I bought you a boat. I mean, that is something. Let me tell you, for instance, somebody in Mbarara, recently, in the midst of COVID, instead of discussing other things, the parliament called a special meeting to approve the cities and towns. Can you imagine? With the budget that is failing, with the post-COVID, which will be so bad,
Borrowing for salaries.
Borrowing for salaries, they are passing district.
We passed the principle.
They pass. And the member of Mbarara for municipality is saying, I brought you a city. I brought you a city. So this is the campaign nonsense. Hey, I'm sorry. I had repented of such words.
I understand today Parliament could not pass a loan of 6 trillion. Are you beginning now to...
Loan
16 billion, not 6 trillion, 16 billion.
from
The
where?
budget committee.
The budget, they brought to the budget committee where I am, a supplementary schedule for Nyanza Textile, the electricity bills. There was 10 billion for Naira. There was also money, different schedules. And of course,
amounting to
16 billion. And why we chased the minister, why we sent the minister back on member-raised issues, because we are...
You are beginning to bite,
We are in COVID. No, no.
That is a negotiation.
We are fighting back.
No, we are not fighting. I don't think the
it.
committee was fighting back. But
I hope this
we
is
are
not
in
leverage
COVID,
now.
and you want to get money to pay electricity bills for private company. Nyanza Textile is supplying the army with the uniforms, is supplying police. They are making profits under exorbitant prices, but we want to pay for them electricity bills. And the Minister of Finance came with that to the committee, and the committee refused. Not that we are revenging for anything. We are doing our role.
They are bargaining. You wait next week or 2 weeks.
We are doing our role as Parliament.
Raising the stakes.
With Gerard, you know, when I saw Gerard returning the money, even returned it in excess of 450,000. I said, Gerard must be having a lot of money.
That's what you need to get someone.
Yes, I saw it. Maybe it is wrong.
And that's what because yours was blocked, I think, by the bank. Because I think probably they could have imagined that you may not easily take it back. But it appears, and this must be known, it appears different members were given different money. I don't know whether they consider the distance from where we come from. Because when I was also surprised when I saw the money on the account. If you see, it's up to even the last digit, which is 4, that I sent back as it came. And when I consulted other colleagues, it appears they were getting different sums. So, and I made
sure it was mixed with some.
So, everything
maybe you had an internal travel,
you had 400,000 and
maybe 400,000.
So it was, I said, no, this money must go back. And I even, because I consulted, their colleagues also had gotten slightly more than.
Because I was surprised, I said, Gerard has a lot of money on 20, he has even topped up for government.
No, you need, but you see someone again, we could, talking about that, donation, I guess, is okay. And as colleagues, I think members many times donate. But you see, if you have a challenge of facing Ugandans and maybe they are your constituents, if there is any time to care a little more, should be now. And not during the elections. Because I know that most of us are keeping the money saying, the elections are close. But the people are also saying, wait a minute. You want to pick this money from us, the public money, from one pocket, and then you give it, you put in the other pocket, and you give an impression that, oh, I have been able to donate so much and so much. So I think let's agree that we clean up Parliament's image. A grave mistake was done. Let's return the money to public accounts. The money is spent in the institutions that we supervise, that account to Parliament. And then we make sure it does that.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, let's look into some of those individual donations, including the case of the Honorable Zake. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching On the Spot. My name is Patrick Kamara. My guests tonight are Honorable Solomon Silwanyi, Dr. Miriam Matembe, and Honorable Gerard Karuhanga. And I've just received a message from, I think, the District Health Officer Kakumiro, Senteza Robert Augustine. He's trying to say that the motorcycles supplied by the Honorable Nabanja, Dr. Matembe, that were meant for the health centers in the areas, health centers like Ibirembo, like Nkoko, like Kitaihuka, Kagadi, and stuff like that. They are not for individuals. That's Honorable Nabanja trying to...
Wait.
Wait for what?
For the campaigns.
What they would be used for?
During campaigns.
The logbook.
That's what the acting
district
health officer has.
You mean you are referring to me?
Yeah, because
yes, of course you are saying these are motorcycles, they are going to carry pregnant women and all that kind of thing. But you wait. I told you that people think we are fools, we can't see. You wait, come the 2021. Those motorcycles will be the campaign agent thing.
It's like these vehicles,
okay.
the double
but as
cabins
of now, Nabanja is saying this, they have been received by the district health, the health center 3s in the area. Anyway.
The double cabins being asked for. Whether I really
okay, Honorable Silwanyi, you have supplied maybe some assistance to your members and people in your constituency, but a colleague in Parliament, when he decided to do the same, he was not only arrested, but also tortured. We have had the president condemn the act, but though we are waiting to see, yes, so that's what he said, but we're waiting to see the acts about what he said. Why would there be some double standards?
Yeah, first of all of us, all Ugandans who have been donating, have either been taking donations to the National Task Force or the District Task Force. Why this guideline was set by the president was to avoid people gathering and bringing people together, because the contact is one of the ways you get COVID, and it spreads so fast. So if a member of Parliament floats the guideline and Uganda give out food and gather people together, I think that is totally wrong. What I don't agree with, and that I also want to totally condemn in its totality, is torture. If someone is already handcuffed, is in the cells behind the bars, you're going to hear his case. Why would you beat him? I mean, what is the police doing? Why would somebody be beaten in police custody?
It has Parliament raised that concern in the House?
We are going to sit on Tuesday. Of course, those are issues that members of Parliament will be raising.
Here is somebody,
because this is our colleague.
Somebody who has been beaten.
If it is,
and
if it is true that he has been tortured, according to the pictures I'm seeing on social media, because sometimes social media also.
So you think maybe the pictures have been doctored?
No, I'm not saying the pictures have been doctored. I'm saying if it is true that Honorable Zake has been tortured, it is unfortunate.
You have seen him physically?
If you have seen him physically, maybe you can update us, because I've not visited him.
I visited Honorable Zake in hospital, and the state in which I found him in was very, very appalling. He was in great pain. He could only identify my voice. He could not see me, and that was after a week in custody. He could not stand up. He could not even turn himself in bed. He had to be helped to be turned in bed. And I saw a clip of the video recording, which was run on the one of the media houses, where he was handcuffed peacefully. Peacefully, was arrested peacefully, taken inside the van, and he was even smiling. So meaning the entire torture, and his audit is clear. He says he was taken in some basement, and when he spoke, he realized that that probably he was under CMI basement, and then that's where most of the torture took place, in the van in which they drove him in and under custody. And then they dumped him later. He was dumped at Chireka. So the police actually.
So it was not the police.
Whereas we may even be here blaming the police, it appears it is probably more than the police. Yeah, the police certainly has everything to do with it, because at least the men we saw picking him were putting on police uniform. So, and eventually the ones that took him to hospital also police uniform. But in between, and whoever these days appears even the uniform is put on probably by I don't know, so many other different institutions.
Why do
but you see, one thing that we must really address.
To torture a fellow Ugandan who has not committed a crime against you as a person even.
The acts, Kamara, the acts of a soldier, of a policeman, are the acts of the commander-in-chief. You see, when the president comes up and says, I think Honorable Zake shouldn't have been treated that way. No, come on. If he meant it, we should have seen 2, 3, 10 officers probably were involved, prosecuted. Then they would say, you don't take lightly somebody who tortures. Moreover, a person who is already arrested.
So we should measure his words by the action.
Exactly. The actions should speak for themselves. And so it is saddening. It is, and you see, these matters, Honorable Serwani, we cannot take them lightly. You see, tomorrow it may be Honorable. Today it's Honorable Zake. Tomorrow it would be. I mean, I've seen it. In the last parliament, there are members who used to disturb independence. Then the subsequent parliament, I saw them as independent.
They're talking about that. There's another DC in Jinja who just the day before was hounding the areas in Kwago.
Yes.
Areas, venomous language, and the following morning, the man was a guest of the state. in the same institution he was praising.
Yeah, if I may talk about Zake. He says he didn't see. Like people are seeing us on the screen, eh? They see we are here. I saw Zake on the screen being carried from the vehicle on a stretcher, having been driven all the way to Mitiana, that is his constituency, to appear before a court. I saw this man, I cried, of course, because this was a man, he could not breathe, he could not talk, he was crying in pain, and this is an honorable member of parliament being treated like trash. He was cut his head is bleeding. He was almost dead. I saw him. And on reaching there, of course, the judge said, take him away to the hospital. Me, what surprised me was that I saw people, human beings, taking this almost dead person, instead of taking him to hospital, they are taking him to court. I said, what has gone wrong with Ugandans? Even if I was a prison warder and I'm under law, and you give me such a person to drive all the way to Mitiana to be in court instead of hospital, I think I would have said, no, I'm not going to be involved because the man might die on the way. So, Zake, I said if it was not COVID and if it was not for tear gas, I would have raised up and raised people and demonstrated on the street like the Ginger people did for the life of Zake. Now, having said that, I really wondered and said, why does President Museveni hate this man? I must use that word. Because that man has been tortured. Isn't he the same man that was brutalized with Kyagulanyi?
Yes.
That man I've been following has been tortured about 4 times. Even tortured almost more than Besigye. The man has not contested for president.
There he is with the handcuffs and getting it to the what?
He has not declared.
He's not resisting arrest.
He has not declared that he's going to be a president. But I'm wondering, why does the president hate this man? Or for that matter, fear this man? Now, having said that, I was so shocked to hear President Museveni, disassociating himself with the rest of Zake. When I heard him, President Museveni, when he was addressing us, first of all, I saw Zake giving the food. After that, I saw President Museveni very, very angry. When he becomes angry, like when Matembe is angry. He was very angry. He said, those ones, they would see me. They would have to face the law and they would be charged with attempted murder. I saw him. So that was the order. He made the order there and then, and people went and arrested this man. And they tortured him the way they have tortured him, that man. And what was very sad, they said after that, they said they are giving him what his wife take home. Then the next day, I saw the police, Ochola, saying that he doesn't know Zake. Who is this Zake? I don't know Zake.
Okay.
Then they said that Zake refused to sign. The man was almost dead.
Hold on to your point.
Such a man
we're going to continue.
sign?
We're going to continue with that issue on the Honorable Zake. But let me get the Honorable Robin Nabanja, who seems to be on phone and would want to clarify some issues. You've been waiting. I think you provoked her to speak.
Provoked her.
Let's get what the Honorable Nabanja. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes. Good evening, Honorable. Please go right ahead and make a clarification that you wanted to do.
Yes. Good evening, brother.
Good evening.
Good evening, brother.
Good evening.
This is Honorable Nabanja. I am a member of Parliament from Kakuda District. I'm also a minister in charge of general duty. I have seen my sister, senior sister. I give her, she has told Ugandans on a public TV that I bought motorcycles from campaign. My dear sister, I bought those motorcycles. That's why I asked the DHO to send you the details of how we did it. All the 10 motorcycles costed me 4 million. I have one of those people who have even constructed health centers for my area. You have been reading the news, Mr. Kamara. Not only one, not only two, I have distributed an ambulance for my people. I don't know what my sister is. Maybe that's her behavior. She buys something like this and then she buys something different. Some of us are as genuine as that. That's why, by the way, my people brought me back in Parliament. I'm okay. I call a spade, and I don't call it small. A big spoon. Mr. Kamala, I have felt hurt. Even my people are calling me left right. This is a television put my people home. How could she do that? I sacrificed. I was given 20 million. I bought motorcycles at stolen. How have you feathered the brain? But you see that I bought the motorcycles at 40 million. They gave us 20 million by the way. Madam Matembe, you know I respect you, but I didn't know that you can be a little like that. Maybe you are that type of person. I am not. Thank you so much, Tamara.
Thank you very much, Honorable Robin Nabanja, for that clarification. And perhaps maybe...
I have listened to Honorable,
yes.
and what I was saying, I'm not even detracting it, because I didn't say that these motorcycles are running right now for campaign, okay? But I've said some of these people are preparing the ground for the next campaign round. And I can assure you, these very motorcycles come for those elections. They will certainly be put to use to get Nabanja, get the honorable votes. I don't think that that is a grave thing, that I have done any bad thing, but I'm just saying, wait a minute, okay? Secondly, I heard her saying...
So is this a prophecy? How do you conclude that they are going to do it?
It is a prophecy.
I heard her saying,
that's very hypothetical.
She called a spade. But one time, I had her castigating the president. Then afterwards, when they said, oh, now you are a minister, ooh, the words turned completely around and said, yeah, this is the best person. So, my dear sister, we know these things. Don't get angry. We are talking, and we are talking what we see.
Actually,
let's go back to our thing.
Actually, just to tell you, Nabanja is one of the people who donates a lot to her constituency, and that is a honest view. She gives out a lot, and she tries to go even beyond the legislation role to go and donate. So she's one member of parliament who really donates. And I think I can.
So what? Okay.
Well, that's good.
Right.
I'm not saying
that's
what
good.
should we?
I do not think that I'm abusing this lady.
No,
by
of
the
course,
way.
yeah, you did not.
But what I was putting forward, what I was putting forward, I am telling you, I know this thing. She's there putting ambulance, and we were saying, look here, as a member of parliament, that is not your role. Play your role. If you fail to ensure that the institutions work and the systems work, and then take over the role of the executive and start telling us how you are playing that role, you are, in other words, moving a vote of no confidence in your government.
Okay,
these are issues which should be clearly seen.
I think we're going to leave that issue now.
We go back to our human rights thing.
The human rights thing, but also I wonder what Parliament is considering to do for the case of Honorable Zake.
Yeah,
and there are also other people now who are not even coming into court, who are not getting bail, because of this issue. Is COVID supposed to get into our human rights and deny us our human rights as well?
I think
but Dr. Matembe is a lawyer. I would want also to hear.
The president is always very clear on this, and I want to also be very, very clear. No Ugandan deserves torture, even abuse. No one should be tortured. And I think because now it involves CMI, it involves, according to what people are saying, we are going to summon the relevant ministers in the parliament. We shall summon the Minister of Security, the Minister of Internal Affairs, and on Tuesday, we are going to handle the issue of Zake. We must handle it as parliament, we must discuss it in parliament, because there is no way one member can be, because I saw the way he was arrested. The man was smiling. So if now the information is the man is on a stretcher, what has happened between the road, between here and the cell? I mean, this is totally wrong. No one has a right. What Zake did was not right, to flout the guidelines in this emergency. But even other people who have done that, whether in NRM, if you flout the guidelines that are issued by the president in an emergency, you should be arrested. I saw several people giving out food. These people they should also be arrested and face the same law. We should practice equity. And this is moral. If we practice equity, I think we should do that.
Dr. Matembe, are human rights being violated in this issue?
It is too much. The brutality of the armed forces, whether police or army, whoever is dealing in armed whatever profession, the brutality has become too much. It is just too much. That day when I saw Zake on TV there was also another woman who was so brutalized tortured, and the issue were involving RDC in that area. And for me, what I have seen here is even the institution themselves, the way Ochora, the inspector of police, talked about Zake. I don't know who is Zake. I don't know him. And then he says, yeah, if you refuse to sign, then you are arrogant. Then you should be dealt with. I said, has this man seen the condition of this man? This man who was crying and shouting and could not talk, could she sign any document? Because they said that she said his lawyers should sign that document. But they said he's arrogant. And I saw Enanga. After that picture was put there, Enanga came and she never apologized at all. For me, what even hurts me, when they have brutalized, like they brutalized all those women and all that kind of thing, they don't come and say, sorry, we have made a mistake. They just say, well, we shall follow, the medical report will come, and the police. Whom have they ever followed and even paid? And now my question was, this man is now in the hospital. Who is meeting the bills? Who is meeting the bills for his torture? That is Zake now. Can I go on another thing? Because we are talking about violation of the laws. Me, I've been wondering. They keep saying COVID, COVID, COVID. They arrest people. They take them to prison. It is a constitutional right of somebody to be released on bail as long as certain conditions are satisfied. Now, I remember there is the permanent secretary, Prime Minister's office, with her team. They did not commit robbery or murder. I call these murders and brutality, which I see people doing. They said somehow that they secured suppliers who supplied a little bit more of price, increased the price and made it higher. And so they were arrested and put in prison and denied bail. They say COVID. They are not having bail. Up to now, they are suffering. She's suffering there in Chigo. This is a distinguished woman who has served this nation distinctively and high positions of responsibility. And I know she has charged them very well. But because of that, I don't even know what charge they are putting on her with her colleagues. She's been in that prison, I think it is now how many months in Chigo prison. No COVID. And yet, I say, okay, has now the decree of President Museveni overthrown the constitution and denied people bail? Look at Mkunde, no bail, they said during COVID. And yet, when Sakwa, the RDC of Jinja, was arrested, I saw him yesterday being given bail. So even if the constitutional law has been overthrown by the president's decrees, they seem to be applied selectively. Because if the other one was in prison for just 2 days, and yet these distinguished people who have served this nation have been in prison for almost a month, no bail. And why no bail? They are not even going to run away. And the offense, whatever small offense, is bailable unless, what I have heard President Museveni says, if you arrest people now related to this COVID thing, it is murder. Now, I want to know whether the criminal law has been defined again to define the offense of attempted murder. Because it seems they are staying in prison for attempted murder. Because attempted murder, bail could be difficult to secure. So what is working? I want to know.
Okay, I'm sure the powers that be are listening to you right now, and then that issue can be addressed. But let me open the line so that we get to hear what Ugandans are saying tonight, just in case you are ready. You will see the numbers on the screen. Pick your phone and tell us what you think. I'm picking the very first call online. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. What's your name?
Yeah, I'm Simon from Wakiso.
Simon from Wakiso, you are on air.
Yeah, me, what I would like to say is that the MPs showed a highest level of e-look to that money. Actually, the members of parliament from the taxpayers in this country. And we want the MPs to know that we are waiting for you. It is just a matter of months, which you deliver the judgment on the parliament. So just be assured that you eat for the last time, you're not going back. You stole us,
in Wakiso. From Wakiso.
He's going to
Okay,
Kuramboni.
thank you very much. That Solomon is okay. And he cannot be intimidated
In
by people from
Wakiso.
Wakiso when it comes to elections. You never know, the man could be from your constituency.
Even if one
But
doesn't really
it doesn't matter, even if it's Wakiso or not. The issue is the principle or the subject matter at hand now. Let me try also to take another call online and tell us your name and where you're from. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good evening. My name is Abdullah Sulaiman and I'm calling from.
Okay.
My view is this is very stinky. I think every time members of parliament open their mouth to address or to somehow step away from this, it is just thinking for them. They should just drop it, offer an apology nationwide, and we move on. It is thinking for sure.
Okay. It stinks. That's what you're saying. All right. Let me try to maybe get a few other callers. Please just be precise with your views. I have a call online. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is John Vian. I'm calling from Mutungo.
John, you're on air.
Yes. What you are saying is that Kadaga listing what each ministry has gotten.
Mm-hmm.
He is telling us that everybody is supposed to eat. We have been telling people that you cannot be in bed with a tiger,
Mm-hmm.
and when you're getting it inside, you start complaining. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much, John Mutungo. All right. Let me try to take some more callers and get here your views. I have a call online. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. What's your name?
Good evening, Patrick.
Go right ahead, sir.
Yes, I just have one small comment.
Okay.
I'm very shocked by the way Honorable Miriam Matembe is debating today.
Mm.
How I wish Honorable Matembe followed Honorable, the Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga's clip, word by word. I did hear Honorable Matembe talk about the rotten bills. Did she dodge that question deliberately? Because that's not the Matembe we know. Thank you.
Okay. The Honorable Dr. Matembe reacted on the rotten beans, reacted on the expired milk, and it took some time. Perhaps you took a pause there and you missed those issues. I think I remember she did that. Let me try to take some another call online. Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Tim. I come from Mitoma.
Could you repeat that?
Yes, I come from.
You are in Mitoma, but your line is not very clear. Could you go right ahead, sir? We are losing connection to our caller from Mitoma. I'll have to pick another. Yes, good evening, sir.
Yes, speaking to Makoye Prisa Ginger.
You are in Ginger. Go right ahead, Ginger.
Yes, I think it is dictatorship hidden in democracy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Today, what I've realized that all of you have very short words. I think, is this what they mean? You are lost for words? Normally people make statements, but now they're very sharp and precise. So let me take another call online. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Kamara.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Peter Alan Musoke. I'm in Kampala.
Alan Musoke, you're on air.
Yes, Mr. Kamara, we are talking about human rights and equity, but I will first talk about the show. Yes. You allowed Honorable Nabanja to go through.
Yes.
When it was not yet a Paula's time. That of itself shows the unfairness in the country. But let's go to
that's interesting. You don't know the mechanism of the show. Okay.
I think Honorable Karuhanga should help us here and take a further step. The first time Honorable Kadaga spoke about an overload of court was during the former Deputy Chief Justice's order when she called the orders of court today. Then, because we were angry with Mr. Kapuma, people did not come out to see how trivializing the parliament had come of orders of court. Now, she has taken, because no reaction was made then, she has dialed it notch high. Now, the question should move past just the 10 billion. The question and the judiciary stand. I think that should be looked at. It's not just the 10 billion, but the manner of reaction to orders of court. The issue doesn't have to be done of the court. The Speaker and Parliament should show the rest of us how to react to that.
All right.
So those are my two concerns. That one, there should be fairness everywhere, because when you start with unfairness in the media and journalism, well, it reflects everywhere else. When we don't react when we should, for example, we should have reacted first when Kapmasoda was called stupid, and now we are telling it and we are saying, don't follow the orders of court, follow my guidelines. I think the next time will be that the court should don't take this, and that's why Karanga and this friend were threatening.
All right.
Don't go to court, how will we shall discipline you?
All right. I thank you very much. I just also, though I have to tell you that when I'm hosting the show, perhaps you give me the latitude to know who's going to say what, who's going to come in now, and when I'm going to go bring in a phone and things like that. If you can allow me that, then I can be able to chair the show. But when you say maybe this is not right and this is not fair, probably then what is the meaning of chairing? But I hear you and I respect your views. Sometimes we may disagree, but that's nature, human nature, I suppose. Okay. I'm going to take one more caller because my producer is telling me we have quite a number of you who would want to speak tonight. Let me take the last call online. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Tororo.
From Tororo.
Town.
All right, you're on air, sir.
Yeah, it is true. Those MPs more so from Tororo. I just helped to their plan. Let them return that money back. They have to look in that last member and leaving people to suffer from
clan member.
Okay. I thank.
Let them return the money.
Okay, I thank you very much. Okay, I'm closing the lines. It's an issue of time. It's not that I don't want you to speak. I really do, but time is not allowing us now. And our time is out. So let me begin with Honorable Solomon Selwanyi, Commissioner, to respond, if there's anything to respond to, and also make your concluding remark.
Yeah, thank you. I'll just maybe respond to the caller in Wakiso who is saying that he will not vote me back. My constituency is not in Wakiso. And I'm also a visitor in Wakiso. I just go to Wakiso. So that is inconsequential. I think my voters are in Bujiri. And but they know whether they will vote. Let
me ask, are you going to sleep in Bujiri tonight?
No, I'm not going to.
So can't you make a call from wherever you are and yet you are from Bujiri?
There is curfew. There is curfew.
So you expect the man who called is actually born and bred in Wakiso. He can't be from Bujiri.
You're not bringing back somebody to parliament. It's not a one-man.
I'm not asking you.
It's not a one-man show.
Because if I'm in this Kampala, I also have a constituency called Mwenge South.
So somebody say us in Wakiso. We are not bringing you back.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was, of course, not right. I think voters know what is right. They know whether to bring me back or not. Then the other thing, I want to thank our viewers and Ugandans. And I want to tell Ugandans, have the confidence in Parliament, because the role of Parliament is to provide oversight. We are going to do this role of providing oversight, legislation, ensuring that we look into everything and that what is going on in the country and your money is safe wherever it is, wherever sector we give money, we shall go and monitor. And we have been working, even in this COVID, Parliament risked to continue working to pass the supplementaries and ensure that Ugandans get what you deserve. I think as Ugandans, we should stand with the Parliament, support Parliament, because if we lose Parliament, it means we have lost everything. Things will be going on and no one will be saying, no, stop there. So I encourage Ugandans and tell you this evening, continue trusting Parliament, the institution of Parliament, and that is the only way we shall monitor and ensure that the country develops and goes ahead.
Dr. Matembe, your parting shot.
Oh, I want to respond to thank those people who have been listening, and I want to thank them because sure, as I was saying, they have exonerated me, because all of them who talked about this 10 billion, nobody supported Parliament. So nobody supported the members of Parliament. So they have exonerated me when I said we in public were the first one to do what? To attack. Number two, the gentleman about beans, I think he didn't hear me clearly. Because people have been coming to my house to complain of beans. They even brought some of them. And of course, when you go to the market to buy beans for yourself, I wouldn't have bought those beans. But me, I keep telling them, whatever is there, Bambe, you eat. It is better than what? Than nothing. But as Kadaga told us, most of our money has been eaten. Because I hear that some of the RDC, when they say 55 million, that some of them actually have received so far 4 million, others 2 million, others, can you imagine? So where did this money go? So in a nutshell, all this money which we have put for COVID, maybe because God has saved us and we have not had the death and all this kind of thing. So the money has been really misused and misapplied. And unfortunately, the parliament, which is supposed to supply oversight role, has been compromised. It will not be able to question where the money went because they are also sharing in it. It's quite unfortunate. I want to say that it is so unfortunate that we have leaders who are not people-centered, but who are self-centered. And they are not service-oriented, but power-oriented. Our leaders, right from the executive, right, parliament, all these people, they are self-centered and power-oriented, as opposed to people-centered and service-oriented. So I want to tell Ugandans, please, let us kneel and pray. And you Ugandans out there, you have now learned what your members are doing. Please stop being bought with just kabaragara, with all these small things in order to bring wrong people to parliament. Let us, this COVID, teach us to transform us so that when we come next time to vote for these leaders, we throw these thugs out, and maybe God will help us to bring us new people who are good, who are not transactional, transacting business in parliament instead of transacting or transforming the leadership for us. Then the other point I want to say, please, members of parliament, surely don't be so hard. Even the word of God says, soften your heart. The word of God says in Ezekiel that I will take the hard heart of stone from them and give them heart of flesh. I want to pray now to God that he may at this time take away the hearts of stones from these parliamentarians who have heard the outcry and yet they continue and they insist to take the money. God, give them hearts of flesh so that they can release this money and give it over and free themselves.
All right. Honorable Karuhanga, your parting shot, very briefly.
Yeah, certainly this has been an awakening call. I want to believe that Parliament now appreciates that there was a great error and that we must realize that if you are running a public office, whether you are a civil servant or a public officer, or in that case, let's say political leader, one or two individuals may choose to check you, and you may be exposed. You may really look quite ugly in public. So for us as parliamentarians, many times we've seen some little monies around parliament to pass one or two things. I remember telling colleagues during the constitutional amendment that the 2 years it's a hoax, it's a lie. Please forget about the 2 years. This man is going to get his age limit removed, and you will see the 2 years disappear just like air. And that's exactly what happened. Now, I thought that we had learned. I thought that within one parliament, a few years away from one incident, that we had learned that, that we can't just become traders. Right. In parliament, that we use our positions as parliamentarians to literally trade positions that are very unfortunate. So lastly, I want to, in a very, very special way, appreciate the medical workers who have really put their lives at stake. It's not a simple pandemic. It's a killer. We know how much sacrifice you are doing for our own lives. We hope that the leaders that be can remember that if you are to develop a nation, you begin with the human beings first, which is larger health, then followed by education, and then lastly infrastructure, not roads first. So I hope this also reminds us. And thank you, Ugandans, for being very awake. When Parliament was about to grab, you said, wait a minute, we are very awake and we are seeing this. And that's how we managed to come out and proceed to court. Thank you. We hope to deliver for the better.
Thank you very much, Honorable Gerard Karuhanga. We thank you very much, Dr. Matembe and Honorable Solomon Selwanyi. We thank you for your time. We appreciate your insight. We're grateful for that. And for you who are members of Parliament, and for those who have more is expected of you to help the people in Uganda. Let us try to be your brother's keeper, be your sister's keeper, and let us remember that the disease is there and the disease is real. I think coronavirus has exposed the limitation of man. Despite our technological advancement, our interconnectedness, we still look so fragile. And maybe God is trying to teach us a lesson. And also remember that the disease is highly transmissible. And coronavirus anywhere can be coronavirus everywhere. So let's stay awake. Good night and God bless Uganda.